So this show is exciting. I really love all of the cast. I grew up watching High School Musical, the musical, well, High School Musical regular, and
Yeah,
to see this as a series, it was really refreshing. It managed to, pay tribute, but also be its own kind of franchise in itself, its own show. So
absolutely.
I know that season one, they re-aired everything on Disney. It's been on Disney Plus for a while. And your character, we've seen you be the stage manager. And now for season two, you move into wanting to be the star, wanting to participate in the musical and be a part of it. So what has that journey been like? And also the journey of Big Red now, because now he's in front of the stage.
Yeah, I mean, you said it perfectly. I think the writers did such an amazing job in season one of making the audience fall in love with us as characters at East High and like the drama students at East High instead of the Troy and the Gabriella,
Mhm.
which was so great because now with season two we're able to explore so much more with doing Beauty and the Beast.
Mhm.
And going kind of beyond what the High School Musical films have allowed us to do.
Mhm.
And so, I think because of that, you get to see all of these characters grow and change in some way. I think, the Beauty and the Beast material really allows itself that freedom to kind of the characters can look at all of that and grow in that way, which is really, really cool. And so, yeah, for Big Red, we've seen him kind of find his place in the
Mhm.
theater drama club in the first season. And now in season two, he's really kind of going outside of his comfort zone again. And, he has this support system that's kind of pushing him towards, finding his inner greatness. And I think that's true of really all of the characters in the
Right.
show this season. So I was really excited to explore that with Big Red because I think he's someone that really has not gone outside of his comfort zone very much in his life, and so now in this second season we're getting to explore that and see what kind of challenges come with that.
Right. And also, Big Red has Ashlyn now. You guys are a couple. There was a
Yeah.
little flirty in the first season, and then you kind of made it official at the end of season one. Can you say anything about their journey together?
Well, I think what was so great about Big Red and Ashlyn, and I think that really will get explored in season two, is they really are two people that kind of make each other better, and
Mhm.
they push each other to find the best parts of themselves. And so, I think both characters really need that in this moment. They're kind of both, learning things about themselves, and they're learning what makes them happy and what they're passionate about, and it's really wonderful that they both have somebody to rely on that really is always going to encourage them and see the best in them. So I think the audience is going to be so excited to watch that kind of develop and see how the relationship kind of reacts to whatever personal challenges both Big Red and Ashlyn are going through. So
Right.
it'll be a really fun journey in that way.
Now, what I also love is the show allows the cast to bring forth their actual talents. We had real songs that was written by cast members, and we got to see your big tap dancing number, which was beautiful, by the way. For season two, will you incorporate more of the tap dancing into this?
Yeah, I mean, what was so wonderful, Big Red was never supposed to be this tap dancing role. It was very much something that was added once I was cast, and I think the producers and the writers were so committed to having the cast members bring forward their talents, and I think you're right. That is something that makes this show so special, and so that is still very much part of who Big Red is, and so that definitely gets explored more throughout the season.
Right. So this is a musical, so it's acting, singing, dancing, and all a bunch of other things as well. Can you walk me through what it's like with rehearsal? Is it sing day on say Monday and then dance day on a Tuesday?
Yeah, so yeah, that is kind of what it's like. A lot of
Mhm.
times we have recording studio sessions on a certain day, and it'll kind of be like all day. Everybody will go in either one at a time or maybe sometimes in pairs if we're doing something like that. That's a large group moment. And then once they have the track down, then we'll start to figure out what the dance is going to be. And then we'll go into dance rehearsals with our amazing choreographer, Zach Woodley. And we will, work through those numbers. And a lot of times that's happening while we're shooting the previous episode. So for example, if we have a big dance moment that's coming up in episode 5, for example, we would be doing something, we would be rehearsing that while we're shooting, episode 4. So it happens kind of on the weekends or after shooting days, or maybe on days that we're not in. So it's all kind of meticulously scheduled, but it all works out. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. So I know that we're doing the Beauty and the Beast. It was expected High School Musical too, but I like how we don't know what's really expected this part. So I was wondering, for the musical Beauty and the Beast, I know you can't say what role that you end up getting, but can you kind of say what part you would love to play?
Well, Beauty and the Beast is so special to me that we are doing it in season 2, because I have been in Beauty and the Beast in real life twice in my life. And it was actually my very first high school musical. When I was a freshman in high school, we did Beauty and the Beast as our school musical. So it's so, it relates so much to my life. And when I was in high school, I played Lumiere. So Lumiere has always been a special role for me. And so I'm really excited for everybody to see who gets what, because I think it all makes sense. I think it'll be really cool.
Wonderful. And also, you are a professional tap dancer. You've trained, you've studied for this. Can you tell me about what is it about tap dancing that you love so much?
Yeah, tap dance was sort of something that kind of, no matter what I did, it always kind of came back to me, and it always sort of just fit in my life. I trained in tap dance at a wonderful place in New York City called the American Tap Dance Foundation. And I did that for most of my, teen years, from when I was about 11 until I graduated high school. And we trained, most of the world that I was in tap dance was very heavily rooted in jazz music. And so I was also a jazz musician. I played the bass and I did jazz band all throughout like middle school and high school. And so when I started learning this new world of tap dance that was, more so related to the tap dance greats like, Gregory Hines and Bill Robinson and all these people from the 90s and before, I really fell in love with that. And I think it's so kinetic, and you really like feel the music, which is the thing that I always loved, and getting to work with a live band. We used to work with live bands all the time. And so, it always had more of a physicality for me than sort of being a musician or kind of other forms of dance. And it's where I just gravitated.
Right. So I was wondering, for the show, are you improvised, or is it well choreographed?
So it's all choreographed. In season 1, that tap moment at the end of season 1 was kind of a collaborative effort by me and our choreographer Zach Woodley. So we worked together, and there were different ideas, and I would kind of bring forth an idea, and then he would say, "That's great, but it needs to kind of go in this direction or this direction," and then we found it, and so that's kind of how we work in the tap dancing moments in the show, because I do have so much of my own background that I want to be able to bring into Big Red.
Right. And lastly, I was wondering, for Big Red, the cast is huge. If you could involve Big Red in any other storyline or be a part with any other cast member, which one would it be?
Ooh, well, this season we get to see a lot of amazing moments with Big Red and Courtney as well, which will be really fun. And so that's always been a treat that I get to. Because in the very first episode of the show, Big Red and Courtney are kind of, almost enemies, because they're best friends of the people that have broken up. And so now, over these kind of 2 seasons, how they've come back together and formed their own friendship independent of Ricky and Nene is really special for Big Red, and I really love doing scenes with Dara, and so that relationship is always very exciting.
Right. And I know there's also a little troublemaker who comes along in season 2, who's very competitive. Will we see any interactions with Big Red and her?
Yeah, well, Lily, who is amazing, played by Olivia Rose Keegan, she comes in and sort of, there's some stuff that happens, and there's other guest characters that come in as well, and they are kind of just so outrageous and so funny, and I think the audience will really love them, and so there are a lot of amazing kind of group moments. I think the show does so well at having those really big group moments, and so I've gotten to work with all of them, and so I think it's going to be really exciting to see how they fit into the world.
Was it a particular actor that you was really excited to see make a cameo appearance?
Well, one of my best friends from New York, his name is Andrew Barth Feldman. He was recently announced that he is, in fact, in the second season, and so I have known that he's been in the season for so long, and so getting to kind of bring him to Salt Lake and explore with him and show him our set and show him around and welcome him into the family was very cool, and it was really cool to have kind of an outside friend in our little East High world.
Okay, how would you describe Big Red's perfect day?
Ooh, Big Red's perfect day. He probably wakes up late, maybe around like 12:30, and maybe it's not a school day. Maybe it's like a Saturday. He'll probably hang out with Ashlyn for a little while, and then he goes to work at the pizza shop. I think he really likes working there, and then he goes home and maybe plays some video games, something like that. He's a pretty easygoing guy, so he likes when things are kind of just as they are,
Right. And lastly, if you could describe season 2 using just 3 words, what would you say?
Ooh, maybe bigger, magic, and iconic.
Ooh, I like that. Thank you so much for speaking with me.
Thanks so much for having me.
No problem. I really enjoyed the show.
Thank you.